Hello everybody, I'm Aaron Hezelos. Welcome to the program. Of course, a quick look at all the latest in the world of business and money. We'll talk about water everywhere, but how clean is it? We'll talk about that very shortly. But first, let's talk about the top story, as you've been hearing, certainly Cyprus. It has until Monday to come up with the money it needs. Now, we know the ECB, the European Central Bank, has set that deadline, giving the cash-strapped country until then to scrape together nearly 6 billion euros. Of course, that is the 5.8 to be precise, but that is the sum set out by the European Central Bank and the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, in order to secure that 10 billion euro lifeline. Well, let's get more. Marshall Gittler is head of global FX strategy for INFX in Cyprus. He joins us now from Limassol. Very good to have you with us, Marshall, as always. Marshall, let me ask you this. The ECB, it kind of threw the gauntlet down, right, on yesterday. I mean, it really gave Cyprus no choice whatsoever but to strike a deal.
Well, yes, they set a deadline and they said after this time we're pulling the plug. I think, was it Samuel Johnson who said, when you're going to be hanged in 2 weeks, it focuses the minds? Well, I think this is going to focus the mind of the Parliament, because if they don't come to a conclusion, that's it.
No, absolutely. We also know Cyprus is still trying to hammer out a deal with Russia. Can I ask you, certainly for viewers around the world, what is it that Cyprus wants from its Russian friends?
Money. Money. I mean, they're just short of a couple of billion dollars in solving the problem. Cyprus is like a kid who's going to inherit a lot of money when he turns 21, but he's only 18 and he has some gambling debts to pay off. In a few years, there's going to be a fortune rolling in from this gas, but that's 5 years down the road, and they need the money now. So I think they're trying to find some way to securitize the future gas revenues against today's bills, and that's the problem they face.
Absolutely. And Marshall, while all of these negotiations take place, and they're likely to continue, of course, over the weekend with the EU, or at least the Eurozone officials, and Russia, the question is, who holds the cards? Is it Russia with all of the billions it has in Cypriot banks, or is it the Eurozone in particular? Is it Germany?
Well, I think both sides have some cards. The Eurozone can pull the plug on the banks, but if that happens, and there becomes a risk of Cyprus pulling out of the euro, and that would damage the whole Eurozone. So I think this is a stalemate. It's really a very high-stakes game of chicken. Ultimately, though, Cyprus is very small, and it would be relatively easy for the Eurozone to bail them out. But the Eurozone doesn't want to set a precedent that maybe the people in Spain see, so they can get tough on this small island that doesn't have systemic implications for the rest of Europe.